Look around you, name an object which seems to be the same since the day it was formed. You might say sun or moon. Can you name a few more such objects which you feel have not changed at all? Everything in the universe changes with the passage of time. Some of these changes are easily visible while some are not. There are some things which appear not to be changing at all, but a change is seen in them also if they are observed over a long period of time. For example, a rock appears to be the same, but after thousands of years it might become a part of soil. The sun always appears to be the same, but scientists believe that it is not so. The sun is a huge ball of fire and its surface undergoes change continuously. The stars appear to be small, twinkling objects, but each star is actually as big as the sun or even larger. It is only because they are so far away that they appear as small points. Their surfaces also undergo change. There are many changes taking place around us, which can be seen easily. Days change into nights and back into days. A seed changes first into a sapling, then a plant, and then grows into a tree. Changes can be observed by the effects they produce. We can know that a change has taken place if any of the following effects is seen. Change in color. We can judge whether a fruit is ripe or not by observing its color. A raw mango is green in color but changes to yellow on ripening. What happens to the color of hair when people grow older? Change in size. Can you still wear the clothes you wore 3 or 4 years back? Why? What has happened to your size? Do you have to trim your nails every few days? All living things grow up to a particular size. Change in shape. You might have observed that a bud opens out into a flower. Has its shape changed? If you look at the moon every evening for a few days, you can see the changes in its shape. Does it appear largest on a full moon day? Change in position. When you play football, what happens to the position of the ball? It changes continuously. Do the hands of a clock remain in the same position? Change in physical state. Keep a container filled with water in the freezer for some time. Take it out after 2 hours. Is there a change in its physical state? It freezes to form ice. Change in hardness. Fresh bread is soft but becomes hard when you toast it. Batter of the cake is soft, but its hardness changes when it is baked into a cake. Types of changes. There are a number of changes taking place around us continuously. We can compare and study them properly only if we divide them into various categories. 1. Natural and man-made changes. The changes which are brought about by nature or take place on their own are called natural changes. Change of seasons, rainfall, turning of night into day, earthquakes are all natural changes. These changes cannot be controlled by man. Changes which are brought about by man are called man-made changes. These can be controlled by man. Cooking food, burning fuel, cutting paper, etc. are all changes carried out by human beings. Slow and fast changes. Some changes are very slow. They may take hours, days, weeks, or months to occur. Milk sets into curd in 3 hours. One revolution of Earth around the sun takes 1 year. A child grows into an adult in several years. Plants buried under the earth take thousands of years to turn into coal. Some changes take place so fast that it is difficult to measure the time taken by them. Busting of balloon, breaking of glass, lighting up of a matchstick are a few examples of such changes. Some changes take only a few seconds or a few minutes to occur. These are called fast changes. 3. Periodic and non-periodic changes. Those changes which repeat themselves after regular intervals of time are called periodic changes. Formation of day and night, motion of a swing, movement of a pendulum are all examples of periodic motion. Changes which do not repeat themselves regularly are called non-periodic changes. Natural disasters like floods and earthquakes are non-periodic in nature. 4. Desirable and undesirable changes. Some changes are useful to us and we want them to take place. Such changes are called desirable changes. We want the plants to grow, the fruits to ripen, wet clothes to dry, and food to be cooked. Some changes are harmful to us and we don't want them to happen. These are called undesirable changes. Accidents, disasters, spoiling of food are some undesirable changes. We can control spoilage by keeping food in refrigerator. Rusting of iron objects is another example of undesirable change which can be prevented by coating a layer of zinc over them. Some changes are desirable at some times but undesirable at other times. We want the fire to light up while cooking food. Then it is a desirable change. If the same fire burns our belongings, it becomes an undesirable change. Similarly, the running of an air conditioner is desirable in summers, but in winters it becomes undesirable. 5. Reversible and irreversible changes. Those changes which can be reversed are called reversible changes. Take a balloon, blow air into it. Does its size change? Slowly release its air. Does it come back to its original position? Is this an example of an reversible change? Reversible changes are temporary. Some changes are permanent and cannot be reversed. These are called irreversible changes. If we burn a paper, it turns into ash. This ash cannot be turned back into paper. Burning is therefore an irreversible change. 6. Physical and chemical changes. Those changes in which no new substance is formed are called physical changes. During physical changes, the properties of a substance remain the same. Many times they are temporary and can be reversed. Melting of ice is one such change. Those changes in which a new substance is formed which has properties different from the earlier substances are called chemical changes. On cooking, the color, hardness and appearance of food changes. Cooking food is a chemical change. Turning of a raw green mango into a ripe yellow mango is also a chemical change. Physical change. 1. No new substance is formed. Chemical change. 1. New substance is formed. 2. The properties of substance remain the same. 2. The properties of substance change. 3. It is mostly reversible. 3. It is mostly irreversible. There are some changes which are physical but irreversible. For example, plucking of leaves, tearing of paper, breaking of glass. Effect of heat on changes. Heat is a form of energy. When we heat a substance, it gains energy and changes occur in it. These changes can be of many types. 1. Change in the size of an object on heating. On heating, substances increase in size. This kind of change is called expansion, and the object is said to have expanded. Expansion can take place in all three states of matter. Similarly, on cooling, the size of materials decreases. This is called contraction. A. In solids, most of the solids expand on heating, but on cooling, they come back to their original size. If you heat a key, it won't fit into the lock, but if you cool it, it will again fit. Iron tools are fitted in their wooden handles by heating. On heating, the tools expand. The wooden handle fixes easily inside the ring, but on cooling, tools contract. This makes the handle fit tightly. Similarly, the metal rims are fitted on wooden wheels of carts after heating them. If you observe railway tracks, you will find that space is left between two rails at the joint. This is done to allow for the expansion of iron rails during summers. Can you guess what will happen if there is no space between rails? B. In liquids. Perhaps you have seen your mother boiling milk. On boiling, milk expands. If the burner is not turned off, the milk spills out of the container. On turning off the burner, it cools and comes back to its previous level. Mercury metal expands a lot on heating. This property of mercury is used in making thermometers. C. In gases. If you keep an inflated balloon in bright sunlight, it might burst. This is because the heat of the sun expands the air inside the balloon, which makes the balloon burst. On cooling, gases contract. They also expand more than liquids on heating. 2. Change in hardness of objects. Many solid objects on heating become soft. This is how a blacksmith makes tools of iron. On heating till red hot, iron becomes soft and can be easily beaten into any shape. 3. Change in physical state of substances. We have already studied about melting, evaporation, and condensation in Chapter 5. We know that solids turn into liquids and liquids turn into gases on heating. Are these changes reversible or irreversible? Changes can be categorized into more than one type of change at the same time. For example, burning of paper is a chemical change. It is also a fast change, a non-periodic change, and an irreversible change. Changes are a law of nature. Understanding them can help us to regulate them for our benefit.